Hello everybody, welcome back to my page Life with Arike. So today's recipe we're going to be making some homemade delicious bread. This bread you will definitely love it at the end of this video, and when you give it a try I promise you will definitely love it. Sometimes you are just running out of bread, you just want a bread like so bad. Follow this recipe and you will never regret. You can see how fluffy this bread look and they look so fresh and delicious. It's homemade and you know how you make it yourself. So we're going to get it started. First of all, I have my bread flour that I'm going to be using for this recipe. I have a cup of sugar. I have a cup of milk. I'm going to be adding another cup of milk, making 2 cups of milk. I have about half cup of butter that I'm going to be using. And I have some yeast powder, 2 tablespoons of yeast powder, and I'm going to be using a little salt. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put my flour in a bowl. I'm just going to steep my flour so that we're going to get rid of any lumps in the flour. So in another container, I had my 1 cup of milk. I'm still going to add another 1 cup again. So I had my 2 tablespoons of yeast powder. I'm using instant yeast powder, and this is another cup of milk at a room temperature. So I had 2 cups of milk in my bowl, a warm milk. Then I give it a stir. I mix everything together. I'm going to be having my sugar. I'm going to be using half cup of sugar for this recipe. I had my sugar. I mix everything well combined, and I'm going to set it aside, cover it, and set it aside for about 10 minutes for the yeast to be active. So in another bowl of flour that I steeped before, I created like a little bit hole in the bowl. I had 1 teaspoon of salt. Then I'm adding about half teaspoon of nutmeg. Is optional. You can use any flavor. You can use vanilla flavor, depends on whatever you choose to use. So I mix everything together, well combined, and after that I went back again to check my yeast. So it's about 5 to 10 minutes. The yeast is very active. You can see the foam on the surface. So that tells us the yeast is ready to go. So I pour the yeast, the mixture with the dry ingredients. So I'm going to be pouring the wet ingredient together with the dry ingredients and mix everything together. So at this point, we're going to mix our flour, everything combined together to make it in a dough. So that is what I kept doing over there. I mix everything together thoroughly, and I'm going to try to knead the flour, the dough for about 10 minutes to 15 minutes. So I put my dough on a flat surface. I'm going to be adding my butter bit by bit. So I had some butter in the middle of the dough and kept mixing the dough very well. So at this point, my dough is ready. I just put a little bit of oil in the bowl. So I try to use my brush to spray it all over the bowl so that it's not going to be sticky, as you can see. And this is the texture that you are looking for when you completely mixing your dough, and it should look like this. So I'm going to place my dough in a bowl. So right now I'm going to put my dough in the bowl and keep it covered, and you can see I spray some oil on the top of the dough so that it's going to give it a very smooth and easy to make like kind of texture. So I kept it covered. Then I'm going to let it rest for about 40 minutes to 1 hour, depends on how heat you get, like a room temperature. So while I was waiting for that, I get my pan, my baking pan. You can use any kind of baking pan you choose. I spray with some butter with my brush. Then after that, I'm going to add a little bit of flour into the pan so that by the time I put my bread dough in the pan, it's not going to be sticky. You can see I try to wiggle the pan all the way around so that the flour is going to be spread all over the baking pan. So at this point, everything is getting ready while we are waiting for the flour, for the dough to rise up a little bit. And if you are returning subscribers, I want to say thank you for always supporting this page. And if you are watching me for the first time, please don't forget to turn off your notification bell so that anytime I upload a new video, you're going to be notified. And don't forget to like and share on your page. You can see after about 40 minutes, the flour is already rising. So I try to push it down to take away the excess air in the dough. So at this point, we have to I have to knead my dough about one more time, and I'm going to try to cut the dough into shape or sizes that I want. So I slice the dough into 2 equal parts. Then after that, the first one I'm going to be making in another pan. So I'm going to start working on this. So I try to cut the second dough into 4 places again. So we're going to make like a little bun, like a little donut for the first one. So you can see I'm going to start working on the dough. You see, I try to roll the dough in between my hand like a little circle. I'm trying to knead the dough, and at the same time I'm rolling. So you can see at the top, the edge, I try to lock it, like make like a little lock so that when the rice is not going to be puffing out. So I repeat the same process again. I knead the dough on the flat surface. Then after that, I use my hand to tuck in the dough in between so that they're going to be, when I try to bake it, they don't come out. You can see what I'm saying on the screen. So I make like a little ball for the first one. So I just kept repeating the same process for the remaining one. So the last dough, I did the same thing. I knead the dough on the table, on my flat surface, my kitchen counter. So I repeat the same process. I tuck in the dough inside, so to make like a little circle something, and at the end of the dough, I'm gonna lock it up. So at this point, I try to use my rolling stick to make it more flat so that I can knead or tuck in the dough very well. So that is what I'm doing right now on my kitchen counter. You can do it anywhere. You can use like a board or whatever you think is easy for you to do this process. So it's up to you. So you can see. So don't forget to like this page, like I said, share on your page, leave your comment, let me know what you think about this recipe. So at this point, I'm just going to roll in the dough, and I'm going to lock the edge at the last rolling. So that is what I'm doing right now. You can see I try to lock it before placing it in my baking pan. And this is how they should look like. Like I said, depends on the shape you wanna make. So I place it in my baking pan, and I'm gonna keep it covered and let them rest for another 20 minutes again. So I'm gonna leave them aside. But before I keep it covered, I forgot I used my butter, the remaining butter. I just spread my butter on top of it so that it's not going to be too dry when you are baking it. So the butter will keep them from getting too dry. So that is why this part is really important when you are making your bread. So, like I said, if you are making your own, if you think you really like your bread so sweet, you can add additional sugar. So I kept the dough, I kept them covered with my kitchen towel. So this is about 20 minutes after the dough, they've rised up again. You can see so after the second time of raising with our dough, so they are ready to go in the oven. So at this point, while I was trying to knead the dough, I kept my oven on straight away at 350-degree Fahrenheit. So the oven is preheating. So you can see this is the first time I put it in the oven for about 15 minutes. I took it out, put another butter again. Like I said, I don't want it to be too dry. I sprayed the butter, then I put it back in the oven for another 10 minutes, making 25 minutes altogether. And this is how they look like, because we don't want to burn. If they stay too long in the oven, or if the oven is too high, they're gonna turn to chocolate brown. So we don't want that. So this is how they should look like, nice and fresh. You can see the beautiful colors. They come out so great. And you can see I try to split it apart break it into two, and they are so soft and very fluffy, just the way I want it. You know, I don't like my bread too hard. I want them very soft, and they came out so good. So after that, this was me trying to eat my bread with some yummy honey beans with agoin sauce. So let me know what you think about this recipe. Thank you. Stay tuned for my next video. I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you. Bye.